I'm glad to have you on here, Brady. It's a pleasure. I know we've been wanting to do something like this for a bit, so glad to hear it, man. So a little bit of backstory here before we kind of talk about the One FC from last night and whatnot.
Yeah.
So is it just you that runs the page or like your pod? Well, what is it? Like a podcast? What can you kind of describe it?
We're everything. Have you been on our Instagram page? Like, we keep up to date with all the Instagram stuff. We do that. Like, we just do memes, podcasts, interviews. It's like everything, right? So we have our own little style to it, though, right? It's not your traditional podcast, I say. I don't know. We've always done it our certain way, and it works for us. So
nice, man. Yeah, because I find I think we had this conversation. What was it yesterday, last night about like other MMA groups doing shit, and it's just like the stuff that they do. It's just I don't know.
Oh, sure. Like I've been on a couple of shows too, but then I've had people like attack us. So like just because, oh yeah, you'll get it. Yeah. So
what's the kind of stuff that you guys have encountered anyway?
Well, we had this one guy who had like 9 Google accounts and went and disliked all our videos. So we had that happen. Like, we get shit like that. It's jealousy, right? Like, if you say, I got in a huge fight yesterday because online because I said, okay, I believe like great and Hall of Famer gets thrown around too much. Like, and the guy said a Korean Zombie is a Hall of Famer, and I just don't agree with that. Like, he's a good fighter. He's not a great fighter. Like, he's that point yet. You know what I mean? Like, what has he accomplished? He's a great fighter in this time, but he's not a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I could tell you everything about getting into fucking arguments and stuff. I mean, Facebook is just it's the root of COVID conversations, and a lot of people think that they're like Facebook experts and scientists and whatever you want to call them. It's it's really tough right now with social media. Like, everyone has opinion, or if someone gets jealous, they do whatever they can to piss you off. Or one thing I kind of noticed is there's a lot of MMA accounts.
Sure.
And there's a lot of people that tend to say, "Hey, follow me." You never hear from them again. It's like,
Exactly.
Bro, what about? Are you gonna follow me back, or they will, and then they'll unfollow me? It's like, come on, man. Don't do me dirty like that.
Oh no. We have a lot of people. Honestly, we've had like when we first started, we had this kid, Aiden, and he's only like 15 years old, and he's like the biggest MMA fan, and like he stuck with us since day one, and like he even made a TikTok account at one point for us. Like, he was just a big fan of ours. So you do get good people too. So
yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. I know there's it just came to my mind because of who he is, how young he is. He looks quite young. He also does kind of the same thing you guys do. Like, he does strictly MMA stuff. He's got a bunch of like the UFC, all that kind of stuff, posters in the background. It looks like he's almost an addict. I'm not sure if you know who I'm thinking about. It might be something about the Grind podcast.
Maybe. There's so many out there right now.
Yeah, there is.
I swear, ever since I've started, like, we started end of 2018, so many people are trying to do on it, like, get on it, like, and like we put in a lot of work. Like, we have a decent amount of subscribers. We're one of the only MMA channels that are like smaller that are actually monetized. I don't see many channels monetized on YouTube.
Yeah, and it's really difficult. You got to really fight hard for it, and you got to work hard because
we put in time.
Everyone's trying to do it. But anyway, just to get the backstory out of there, just get to know each other. And like, for myself, I do a little bit, like, you said that you guys kind of do a little bit of everything. For myself, I just started doing a podcast channel, and I had guests on there, and it kind of started off as I was kind of screwing around with it. And then I have such a huge love for MMA that I said I started getting MMA guests on, and I got other guests on as well. But I really been sticking with MMA, and I've been releasing a lot of MMA content just because it's such a big passion of mine. And I do release a lot of hockey stuff, obviously the least, with Toronto being only like 3 hours away for me, 2 hours away for you. just me being a huge Leafs fan, so I post a lot of that stuff as well, just to kind of help out with the page as well and gain more, I guess, traction and views and whatnot. But yeah, so I've been trying to do more of that as well because again, you can't upload podcasts every day. That's just unrealistic.
You can't put out too much content or you'll over do it for people, right?
Yeah, and I find that too. There's some people, not so much podcasters, but just people in general that post way too much shit, and it's like
Oh,
that's great, but like I don't want to have to see the same videos. Like just the general public. Like I got some people I used to subscribe to or like follow, and it's just gym video after gym video. It's like, okay, shit, I get it. Like and it's not a bad thing. People are passionate about what they do, but yeah, as you said, a little bit too much overexposure can be not always a great thing.
I need to my main goal is I'm gonna buy a new setup soon. Like the studio you have, I'm only going off I'm going off an LG Velvet, which is a good phone and stuff, but I need to get a better computer setup right now. That's my main goal.
Did you think that I'm actually in my studio right now?
I see the Marner behind you and stuff, so that's good.
Yeah. So, I guess I'll just turn my all my stuff. So I'm actually just behind my bar here in my condo. So
Okay.
it's just a little bit by my bar setup. I know it's all I have a bit of a filter on there to kind of filter out the background.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got my Marner jersey in the corner, and I got my signed Riley jersey. Like they're both signed. So I get the signed Marner, the signed Riley. I have some of my signed UFC stuff. Like I got Bullet Shevchenko, Ronda Marcos, Chris Clements, obviously from London. I got, and then some of them are just like pop culture. Like I got Star Wars in the bottom there, and I got some Star Wars. I got some hockey. I got Steven Stamkos in the corner there on top of my bar fridge.
I'm a diehard Star Wars fan too, so don't worry.
That's awesome, man. So yeah, like I mean, I and then obviously I don't know if you got a chance to see. I'll set up my camera here for a second. But if you look up there, I got my GSP signed canvas and signed shorts. So like it's a nice setup, and then that's where I kind of decided where I was gonna do a lot of my my podcasts and whatnot. Sorry about the camera.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, man, like that's kind of what I've been doing. So
You just started though, right?
what's that?
You just started a couple months ago?
With what? My podcasting?
Yeah.
Oh no, God no! Like when I talked about doing podcasts before I was doing MMA guests and whatnot, I was just doing more to kind of screw around, have fun with friends, and maybe I'll get on YouTube and become big one day. Kind of cliche, but that was a couple of years ago, and then just recently, about February, March of last year is when I took it seriously, and I think the first MMA guest I really had on was Chris Clements, and then it just skyrocketed off from there. And I've had a lot of good guests, and I've had a lot that I didn't think I was going to get. And I mean, like I even had who was that? Who's that one Brazilian? He's in light heavyweight.
Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker. I had him on there. That was freaking awesome. I was so fucking nervous, because I really like Johnny Walker. Like I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
And I was so fucking nervous, like I was scared I was gonna screw up, and but that was cool. But yeah, anyway, that's a little bit about like my podcasting and doing stuff like that. So yeah, man. So you wanted to cover the One FC last night. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to watch it. So you're gonna have to fill me in like the whole thing. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I gotta see the Eddie Alvarez fighting the Demetrius Johnson. So that's all that's really important.
Yeah. Like I just know the end results, and it's so heartbreaking to see DJ lose like that.
I know.
I mean, we saw Stipe Miocic get knocked out, like get sent into fucking Mars, and that last 2 weeks ago, and then you see DJ lose. I mean, come on.
I'm a huge Stipe fan too. Like I told people when 5 years ago this guy's gonna be the future champ. Before he was in MMA, like I was following that guy, so huge fan.
Yeah. But the thing is too, like you gotta respect Francis's game there. I mean, I don't even know if he had a game. It just shows you, like, like
He improved.
Francis came in not fucking around. Like he came in like he was dialed in, ready to go.
Oh, for sure. And you can hear me properly, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. And we're on right now, correct?
We are. It's recording. It's everything. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So what was I going to say? And I'll hook you up with interviews too. Uh, like if there's someone that you would like talk to, honestly, my favorite interview is Lauren Murphy out of everyone I've interviewed.
Yeah. Like how do you get a chance to get her?
She's been on the show 4 times now. I talk to her every day. Like I have her T-shirt. She's my honestly one of my top 10 fighters. Like we're actually really close now. So I just messaged her online in about 2 years ago, and we've always stayed in touch since then. So she's coming back on the show soon to talk about her Joanna fight or against Calderwood.
Yeah. That's you know what? Before we get into One FC, I was kind of upset that they didn't give her the Shevchenko fight. I
Yeah.
honestly thought that okay, like given her age, and I'm not trying to call her old, but you know, you get to that age where you want to get the
Oh,
title shot because you never know what's going to happen. And the fact that they didn't give her the title shot, but they gave it to Jessica Andrade, who's what she's fought for the title like so many times, never got got the belt the one time, but like
uh,
lost it quick. And she really hasn't been that impressive in her last 4 or 5 fights, in my opinion.
no, I'm not impressed with Entourage. Like the thing, I'm a huge. You can't get me on Murphy. Like honestly, like I'll send a clip to her of me saying that she knows I'm a huge fan of her. Um, Like I think she's the only person in the flyweight division that could pose a problem for Valentina, and that's because of her strength.
Yeah, and that's
Like I'm
I,
not saying she's gonna win.
yeah, it's definitely Lauren Murphy. She's kind of one of those fighters that you know I'm not looking at her and saying, okay, yeah, she's definitely gonna obliterate Valentina, but she could definitely possibly give Valentina a problem. There's a lot of girls in there that could have that potential. Like even Valentina's last fight,
Maya.
Jessica Mai. I think though a lot of people were really shadowed by the fact that Valentina, I think, was just coming in a little bit rusty. You
Mhm.
know, with Jessica Mai's plan, yeah, she's a big girl for 125, incredibly strong, but I think she honestly just got lucky in that fight. I'm a huge Valentina fan, so I'm not trying to come off biased, but I think Valentina just came in really rusty. She looked a little rusty. But as the fight picked up, you saw who the champion was.
Oh,
And
for sure.
and I don't know, like with Lauren Murphy, I mean, she can do what she can, but like Valentina, like it's no disrespect to any of the girls, like she's just that damn good. It's like Amanda Nunes. Like it's
Mhm.
you have to kind of get that perfect move to beat them, and that's really difficult to do.
Oh, for sure. Like, yeah, Murphy's just I don't know. I'm biased towards Murphy's fights, so I just think she's on like a 4 or 5 win streak right now. Everyone else getting flyweight shots are coming off of 1 win. Like Maya, I think it was on a 1 win streak. I know
Yeah, yeah.
is. So I think she's getting screwed.
Yeah, and that's just it. I mean, sometimes the UFC makes moves that just make no sense. I think, like, you look at it on video, they want Jessica Andrade to fight her because you look at Jessica Andrade, she's a powerhouse. She knocks girls out. Lauren Murphy, you know, like she's getting her wins, but maybe they're not the most spectacular wins, and I think that's why they see that. But on paper, I mean Lauren Murphy, 4 fight win streak. Like, come on, like, win is a win. Like, you
And
got
she
to
just
give
got her
her that.
first rear naked choke. Like she just got her first submission in her career too. So
Exactly. So it's like, come on, like, you got to do the right thing. Like, if Valentina wins, which she probably will, this is a perfect fight for her. Lauren Murphy's got to be next. If not, I say
well,
Lauren Murphy say, pack your bags and go to an organization that will give you a title shot.
I think that more Murphy is like a good matchup. Like when she fights Calderwood, I think that's a good matchup for her.
Yeah. I
Like
don't know. Like, I mean, even with Calderwood, like some of these girls, and again, no disrespect to them, um, but you see a lot of levels in that division. You see
oh, for sure.
Laura Murphy separates herself from the girls like Calderwood and some of these other girls, but then you have everyone in Valentina, and that's no disrespect to the division. It's just how good Valentina is. it's up to these girls. What can they do to beat her?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But anyway, that being said, going back to One FC, I mean DJ man, like I'm not really surprised that he lost, only because if you look at the guy he's fighting, like he looked like he was fighting in a totally different weight class, which he was, granted. But I mean, you look at him.
It's not flyweight.
What's that?
It's not flyweight. Like a lot of people think it's flyweight division. It's actually bantamweight.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he fought at bantamweight, so I mean that's not even his division. That's really difficult to do.
And Marias is huge. Like people don't realize like
Huge, yeah.
how big he is till like even my buddy was texting me. He's like, man, this guy's massive. And DJ's a small flyweight. Let's be honest. Even he's only 5'3".
Mm-hmm.
So the fight was the first round was hard to score because he got the late takedown against DJ. But DJ was controlling the pace, pushing the high pressure in the fight for the first 3 minutes. I actually probably it could have been a draw round. You don't see that often, which there really should be draw rounds in MMA more. That's just my opinion. But even in the second round, I thought DJ was winning. He was pushing the pressure. He just got caught, and I don't think he's used to knees, and he got caught with a knee on the ground too after he got rocked.
Yeah, and that's just it. And unfortunately, when it comes to the knees, there's not much you can do.
Oh yeah,
there's really not much you can do about getting kneed in the head. Like you only can take so much. I don't know. I don't care who you are. A kick, like a shin to the head, or a knee to the head. Not too many people can take that and just be okay after.
Oh, for sure, for sure. That was a huge knee, and especially from a bigger dude like he was a lot bigger.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm screwing around with my laptop. Okay, I'm good.
Don't worry. But Eddie Alvarez was kind of controversial. I thought the guy turned around. It shouldn't have been It shouldn't have been a disqualification, in my opinion.
No.
Could have been a stoppage, really.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like, yeah, I mean, a couple of strikes look like they could have went to the back of the head. Maybe that last one, but like the guy was turning his head on purpose. You can tell he was. He turned his head on purpose to make him hit in the back of the head. The guy had no real defense to do anything, and it's unfortunate because Eddie Alvarez. I mean, geez, like he's come so far. He came so far in the UFC, became a champion. Unfortunately, lost his belt to McGregor, and then just was not the same after. And then went to One FC, and that's tough. It's tough. And I mean, real emotions after the fight too. I don't know if you saw him; he was like crying and carrying on out and back. And
well, he did get a win in his One FC, so he was trying to put. Yeah. He probably would have got a title shot with this win.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know. I think he'll bounce back. Here's another thing that we'll talk about. Say Eddie Alvarez in that zone where like that Aldo was. Like they both lost to McGregor, but they're both all-time greats in my opinion. And people just say, "Oh, he got dominated by McGregor." People look at that in their career. You know what I mean? They judge him by that. Like people don't know that Eddie Alvarez beat who he's been beaten from Shinya Inoki to Gilbert Melendez. Like he's beaten some huge names. Michael Chandler, he's beaten Michael Chandler, arguably a little, and a couple of best fights you'll ever watch if you've seen them. These guys are just so like I think Jose Aldo is one of the greatest of all time, like top 5 easy, and people same with him is overshadowed by the knockout, right?
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, I guess you could say, he'll still be considered one of the greatest of all time, and he still had really great fights. They're just a lot of them just haven't gone his way. I mean, he's had tough fights too. It's not, he lost to a number 15th ranked guy, and he's like, what's going on with him? No, like he's had good fights, like even after the loss of McGregor. I mean, look at him. He had a great fight. He had a big brawl with Chad Mendes, I think. Or was it Chad Mendes? No, not Chad Mendes. Frankie Edgar at UFC 200, and then got the interim, and then turned into regular belt, and then he had like 2, like the first one at least was pretty competitive against Max Holloway, but Max Holloway being who he is, I mean, shit. I mean, like, not too many people have won against the guy. And then the second fight, just, same thing, lost against Piotr Jan, who, honestly, I mean, besides the DQ, I mean, shit. I mean, Piotr Jan's not there to fuck around either. So, he's lost against top level guys, not against guys that just come in, right?
Like, he lost to Volk, but
Yeah.
again, champion, right? Like, he's not losing to nobodies.
Exactly.
So and he put a I think he knocked out Renato Moicano and he knocked out Jeremy Stevens.
Yep.
So he's still doing some things. Like, even the Marlon Vera fight wasn't the best, but at least he got a win. I was so happy to see him get the bantamweight fight, like the first win there.
Well, shit. I mean, like, he still looks pretty good. I mean, he looks. He doesn't appear to affect him. I mean, he looks like he's making the weight well. He just looks so damn shredded.
I don't know how, because like I remember them talking how he was going to go to lightweight because he was having a hard time with featherweight back in the day. So yeah. I don't know how he weight.
I think he talked about it. I think he said that he became a vegetarian or a vegan or something like that. He was doing everything plant based, and he was able to cut his weight that way. I don't know if that's what it was, but I mean, that's a hell of a jump to go down to that kind of weight. But hey, if he can do it at 33, whatever age he's at, that's pretty damn good.
He's still young too. Like it's not 33. Some people are hitting their peak then. Like, he's been around forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to go some fights this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. I got them up right here. So you got. I was just figuring we probably could just cover the main card.
Okay.
And the first fight I was going to bring up was Mike Perry and Daniel Rodriguez. Now, I was thinking about this fight because I was going to interview Dwight Grant, who recently just lost against Daniel Rodriguez, which, shit, he was so close to winning that fight, and it's just one of those things that kind of happens with Daniel Rodriguez. Unfortunately, the guy came back and threw him in the shallow realm. But, like, with this fight, Mike Perry and Daniel Rodriguez, this is easily, like, on paper, a fight of the night.
Yeah, they're both exciting. It's all, but to me, it's where is Mike Perry's head at, though, right?
Yeah, he's definitely. I don't know, man. Like, I've never seen someone do things that you just wonder, like, what the fuck, man? Like.
But he showed like when I seen him fight Mickey Gall, I thought it was a totally different fighter. Like, he looked amazing.
Absolutely. It was almost like. So you just gotta wonder, like, if you could just do that with every other fight, man, like, look how good you could become.
Oh, for sure.
And but like the stuff he's outside the cage, he's got to stop. I mean, after I saw him put did you see the video of him kicking the hole through the glass?
Yeah.
Like, shit, I don't know what the hell that was about, but he's like laying on there, filming himself, all bleeding all over the floor. Like, Dana White must be like scratching his fucking hair out. Like, dude, what the hell are you doing, man? Like,
I'm surprised he's still in the UFC. He's kind of on a skid. Like, he's won 2 of his last 6 fights.
Yeah.
He's kind of causes trouble, but the thing is, he's a draw. Like, people like to watch Mike Perry fight. That's regardless.
I like to watch him fight, but I like to just watch his post-fight interviews because just the way he talks about stuff, it's so funny.
Oh, absolutely. I honestly think he pulls through this weekend against Rodriguez.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to show something like a new Mike Perry, hopefully. And Daniel Rodriguez, it's a good fight for him.
Yeah.
And I think Daniel Rodriguez has got some holes in his stand-up, and I think Mike Perry is the one to be aggressive to show that. So we'll see what happens there. And then you got Nina Ansaroff and Mackenzie Dern. Another great fight, I think, is really good. What's your thoughts?
I don't think Nina's as good as she's made out to be. I think what was her big win that she got put in the top?
Let me see. I think I know she's been off for a little bit because she had her baby with not with her, but her and Amanda Nunes had their kid together. I think, well, her last fight she lost against Tatiana Suarez, who's another fighter I'm waiting to see come back.
If I'm
But her
right,
last,
she beat Claudia, right?
yeah, so she beat Claudia, she beat Ron and Marco, she beat Angela Hill, she beat Jocelyn Jones-Leberger, which I just feel like she should have had. If she won that fight over Tatiana Suarez, then okay, maybe, but like she hasn't really had a fight that's really shown like shit. She could be a champ, you know. So it'll be interesting to see what she's going to bring against Mackenzie Dern, because with Mackenzie Dern, on the other hand, I mean, she's been very active. She's gotten a lot better.
Since the loss to
Her
Rivas.
ground game is her thing, which that's all right. I mean, that's her bread and butter. But I mean, she's looked pretty damn good in her last 3 fights. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this fight's gonna all turn out.
What I've noticed most with Mackenzie Dern is her stand-up's gone a lot better since her loss to Rivas.
Yeah.
So I think, but I do think she's going to go back to her. Like, I don't want to say she's faded away her last couple fights. I think she's wanted to show her striking a little bit more because you've seen it a lot more. I think you're going to see an old-fashioned first-round submission. I think this is tailor-made for Mackenzie Dern to win.
Yeah, and you would think with Nina Ansaroff, her wife being Amanda Nunes, that she would have all the striking advantage in the world. She'd be sparring with her. I mean, I don't know how much sparring, but like just working with the striking and knowing how good Amanda is, you would think like that will kind of be presenting like a threat to her. But again, I mean, every fighter I think is different. Like you can be the best striker and you can try to teach someone, but some people just can't get that, learn that, and apply that in the fight. That's just some people just naturally can do it. Some people can't. So it'll be interesting to see what she's gonna do with that.
Oh, for sure. I think this is a clean sweep for Mackenzie Dern this weekend.
Yeah, and also too, again, like I said, she's been the more active fighter, and that sometimes can be difficult. You have a kid, you carry a child, and sometimes that can be difficult coming right back after. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, Mackenzie Dern looked a lot better after she came back, and she came in back in better shape, in my opinion, too.
Oh yeah, she looked ridiculous. She
was
having trouble. She was having trouble missing weight. She was missing weight before the baby, if I was correct.
Yeah, and then she had a baby, and it was like magic. She came back as mom, and she comes in great shape. It's like, shit, why couldn't you do that before?
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see what's going to happen in that fight. But I think Mackenzie Dern, more than likely, she's got this.
Oh, for sure. I totally agree with that.
And then you got middleweight. You got Sam Alvey and Julian Marquez. I love this fight too. It's a fun fight.
I love this fight. I'm honestly Sam. I'm a good friends with Sam too. Actually, he's coming back on the show too. Nicest dude you could talk to. It's sad because I feel like he's won his last 2 fights and he's on a 4-fight losing streak. I think he's lost 4. He had 1 draw. He's coming off the draw with Dan Ung Ung.
Yeah, that was a crazy fight. Like he took a shit kicking in that fight, but he fought back. I mean, I felt that was a draw.
Really? I thought it was controversial, honestly.
It was close. It's hard
the
to
Ryan Spann fight. Who did you have when he fought Ryan Spann? It was a split decision before that fight.
I would have to say I had Sam Alvey.
Yeah. So he's coming off like competitive fights. He might even be a split decision before then with someone else. Like he's still competitive. He's just not getting the win.
Yeah, and that's just it. Maybe this is one of those fights that he needs to kind of show, hey, I'm back, and I kind of like to call this the battle of the shaving, because you got a guy that shaves a smiley face in the back of his head, and you got a guy that would shave Miley Cyrus in his chest. So, I don't know. I think they should do something like that. You got the guy. You should have the one guy. Hey, I'll shave the smile in the back of my head, and be like, hey, you need to shave like Miley Cyrus in your chest or something. That'd be fun.
Oh, sure. He needs to see. Here's the problem with Sam. both fights or most of his fights that he's losing, he gets pushed back into the cage.
Yes.
So and then in the later rounds, he starts moving forward. He needs to start moving forward.
Right away. Exactly.
Yeah.
And with Julian Marquez, like it's both guys, I feel this is a very equal fight. Like I don't feel, obviously Julian Marquez, he has a bit more of a better record, but that doesn't mean jack shit. And but I mean, before he's got power in his hands too. So
Oh.
Sam Alvey, though, when he pushes a fight, he can knock people out too. Like both these guys are very well matched up. I think this was a great fight matched up with the matchmakers, and it's gonna be like like I'm just saying, like fuck, MMA is so competitive these days. Like sometimes you just never know who's gonna win. You can look at the record and say, oh, this guy's lost 4 fights, and this other guy, he's 8-1, or whatever the guy's record is, 8-2, and it's like, yeah, but you never know how the fight's gonna go, and that's the beauty about MMA is anyone can win on any given Sunday.
Do you remember back in the day where Dan Hardy, I think, was the first one? He lost, I think, Chris Lytle. He was on a 4-fight losing streak. And people are like, why is he still there? Like,
Yeah.
I find the UFC gives them fighters more chances now. Like, if you're willing to fight, they're not going to cut you after 4 losses anymore.
Mike Perry.
Yeah, Perry. But, like, you're seeing people like Andre Arlovsky, who lost 5 in a row, that got another 6th fight. I think Carlos Condit was on a 5-fight losing streak. It's
Angela
good.
Hill. I mean,
It's good
Angela
to see.
Hill. Granted, so I think the UFC knew she didn't lose those fights, so they're looking at like, well, yeah, you lost them, but you didn't really lose them. But
I'm just saying, like, I do think this is win or go home though for Sam Alvey.
yeah, and that's it. And I think he has to think realistically, like, hey, okay, well, I need to win this fight, and that might give him more motivation. Just be like, okay, well, if I'm gonna get knocked out, I'm gonna get knocked out, but I'm gonna light this fucker up, like, and Julian Marquez too, like Julian, I think that he wants to get impressive. He's had a lot of confidence, so maybe he's got to bring that same attitude as well. It's like I'm gonna stay in the middle, and we're gonna go. So I mean, I think this is gonna be a fun fight too. Both these guys are fun to watch. They're fun guys to watch, and both fun guys to just who they are. So this is gonna be a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. Cuban Missile Crisis against Smiling. I think this is gonna be a fun fight.
I think it's going to be it has potential to be fight of the night too, but I do think it's going to be a Marquez split decision.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna say who's gonna win because this is such a fun fight that I just want to enjoy.
I just really don't want to see Sam lose another fight. Like I get pretty excited when he fights, and I don't want to see that happen. But
yeah, me too. I really do enjoy watching him fight. He's always been one of those guys that I enjoyed watching him fight. So we'll see what happens. Yes, and then you got Arnold Allen and Sodiq Youssef, and this is also another good fight as well. I don't know if I would put it as a co-main event, but they're both ranked, so you got to do something, right? Arnold Allen, man, like I just watched him do an interview on Mike Owens Media. Do you know that guy, Mike Owens Media?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done a lot of good stuff too. But he did an interview for people that are watching. Go check out Mike Owens Media. He's doing a lot of good stuff with a lot of the UK fighters. But he had a lot of he did a lot of I think he might have done 2 interviews with Arnold Allen. One a while back, and then he just recently did one for his upcoming fight. And Arnold Allen, man, I mean, like you look at this guy, he's just coming. Like he's worked hard to get to where he needs to go, and you gotta have to say the same about Sodiq Youssef. I mean, they're both guys that didn't just win 2 fights and they get a top 10 ranked fighter. Like they've had to work up there. And I mean, I think this is one of those fights where whoever wins is going to get, a top 10, a top 5 guy.
Well, Arnold Allen, he's on I think he's the most underrated, probably top 5 most underrated MMA fighters in the UFC right now.
Oh, 100%.
I'm a huge fan of his. I think I watched an interview where he said he still lives with his mom, which is awesome. So I don't know if you ever heard that.
I don't know if I heard about that, but I mean that's respect. I mean that just goes to show you how humble the guy is, and sometimes that's what you need is a humble guy coming in, and humble takes you a long ways.
Yeah, he's had some big wins though, but that's not at the timing. Like he beat, if I'm correct, he beat Gilbert Melendez, but it wasn't at the best time in Gilbert's career.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, I can't remember if he fight Gilbert Melendez. I'm gonna just take a look here because just to refresh my memory. Yeah, so yeah, he beat Gilbert Melendez.
but
You
he's
know
on like
what?
a 7 fight win streak, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah. His last loss was in 2014. So what
Crazy.
does that tell you? Like
So,
that's
but
pretty damn good.
in Yusuf, sorry, I keep mispronouncing his name. I think he's coming off he has a lot of split decisions. Like he's one of those guys who is he can't. I find he can't get out of the. He needs. I don't. I can't get my wording in. He needs to control the fight more.
Yeah, I mean his last loss was in 2017. He's riding like a almost like a 6 fight, 7 fight win streak. Um,
But close fights, right?
yeah, I mean his last TKO was Gabriel Benzenzez. I'm cursed with pronouncing names. I just did an interview with somebody, and I talked to her about it. I said, like, I was asking about one of the fighters that she recently just fought. I said, I'm sorry, like, I am terrible with names. I'm always cursed with names. I can never pronounce them. But yeah, like, he had a TKO win back in 2019 in Anaheim, California, UFC 241. And other than that, like, he's had some good knockout wins too. So I think it might be one of those things where he's working his way up. He's going to get better and better as he fights. Um, yeah, this is a good fight. I like it.
I don't know. I think Arnold Allen like takes that next leap in competition after this fight.
Absolutely. I got Arnold Yell. Yeah, Arnold Allen. Fuck, I can't talk tonight. Arnold Allen in this fight. I think he's got it. I don't know if it's going to be a knockout, but he's going to control the fight.
Yeah, I think he'll control it. I think it'll be a 30-27, honestly. It should be
Yes.
pretty straight down the middle. And yeah, I just don't see anything that he could do to him.
Absolutely, and that's just it. I think this is going to be a fight where he's going to show, hey, I need a top ten fighter.
Which is a problem. That's in that division.
Absolutely, and that's what they need at featherweight. They need another guy to come in and throw in the mix, and that's great. It's always good to have another guy in there just to show them, like, hey guys, I'm in here, I'm ready to go. And a lot of the other divisions, like even bantamweight, like you got a lot of guys coming knocking on the front door, like, hey, I want to get a title shot as well. You got a lot of good guys at bantamweight too. So, in welterweight, like a lot of these weight classes, it's just getting insane with all these prospects.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to see what Arnold Allen's going to do. And then you get the main event, middleweight. You got Marvin Vettori and Kevin Holland. It was supposed to be Darren Till,
Yeah.
and that would have been a good fight too. It would have been a good fight for Darren Till. But like Marvin Vettori and Kevin Holland, this is kind of a weird fight because can you hear me, by the way?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So this is kind of a weird fight because I don't think Marvin Vettori is as legit as he is yet. Like, I'm not saying he's not skilled, he's not good by any means. I just don't know how good he really is. I think he needs
Mm-hmm.
some more fights to really, like, he hung in his last fight. I mean, that was a war. Like, that was a great fight.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if he's convinced me enough to show, like, yeah, I'm gonna fight the champ next. And Kevin Holland too. Kevin Holland's just shown, like, wow, you got dominated for 5 rounds.
Oh, for sure.
But this is also could be a good stand-up fight. Marvin Vettori being a kickboxer, Kevin Holland just having good ground game, or excuse me, not good ground game. We just saw his ground game a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago, but we saw Kevin Holland's stand-up. Like, his stand-up is pretty good, but also Kevin Holland's another guy that I'm not fully convinced with him yet. I'm not sure
I'm
if
not
I'm
convinced at
fully.
all.
I just think that he's had like his Jacare Souza getting old. He's had a lot of fights where it's like, yeah, you
And he
probably
didn't
should
beat
have
Darren
fight.
Stewart. Let's be real.
That's true. That is true. And granted, I mean, he had 5 fights last year. I mean, that's pretty damn good. Good for him. And I like him. He's a hustler. He will take any fights. He's like, no, I'm ready to go. Let's go. Um,
I don't think he's top 10.
no, I just don't think he's top 10 material yet. Even like his fight before Jacare, I mean, he beat Charlie Ontiveros,
Mm.
and no disrespect to him, but the guy, he knocked him out by just slamming him on his neck. Like, come on.
Oh, for sure, for sure. It's that you can't take anything away from him though for that. But like, I see. I disagree with you. You say that Marvin's not there yet. I think he could be the future champion.
You know what? He has given. He's really the only guy that's given.
Izzy.
Izzy Israel Adesanya a good go. Um, like I guess no, I'm not saying he will never be champion. I just feel almost like he needs another two, because like this is also a fight. He's
Oh,
fighting Kevin
he
Holland.
doesn't.
I think he needs another two good fights to really show, hey, I'm not fucking around. I want the belt. Let's go.
Yeah. I agree with you there. Like, I don't. I think he could be. I do think he's a good fighter right now. I think he's a dark horse of the division.
Yeah,
Um, I do think that Kevin Holland is overrated. I would like to say. Like his win over Jacare was impressive, but that's really he beat Jacare of. He wasn't the best Jacare. Let's be honest.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, like if he beat Jacare Souza, 8 years ago, okay, but he's fighting a guy that's, in no disrespect to age, but age does play a factor in a fight. Like that's just how it
Oh,
is. You're just not as sharp as you are. You're just not as, you're not going to fight the same as if he was 10 years ago. That's just how it is. Um, and that's the problem with some of these fighters is they get really good wins, but like you look at Anderson Silva, granted GOAT, greatest of all time. We got guys that beat him, and they beat him badly. Even Israel Adesanya, like I mean, he had a tough fight with him, but Israel Adesanya beat him, and it was almost like everyone's like, wow, look how is he? It's like, but he beat Anderson Silva, who is way way past his prime. Like, come on.
wait. Like Anderson Silva should have retired after the Weidman fight.
And that's just it. I mean, I think it was a combination of age and just mental as well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
mean,
agree with you.
I think like he had a good 2 years or 2 or 3 years after that, but just with things with layoffs and whatnot, that just kind of,
Surgery.
and the surgery and all those things that I led up, that's just it is what it is, right?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Um,
I just think Marvin is he could be. I just think he could be the next big thing. I think he does bark a little bit more. He could chew right now. He's a little bit too cocky. I don't like how he talks as much crap as he does, but I do think he has the skill set to be a huge problem in the middleweight division.
Yeah, yeah, and when I was saying that before, I just meant like, yeah, I just think that right now I'm not totally convinced. I think he's very good. I think he can hang in there with those guys. Obviously, he hung in there with Jack Hermans, and obviously he didn't just hang in with there. He made a fucking fight. Um, but that being said, I think he needs to just relax right now, focus on Kevin Holland. And that being said, if he beats Kevin Holland, does he get a title shot, or does he get the number one or number two guy? Because again, he's fighting a guy that's coming in on short notice. He's coming in and he's fighting a guy that, like on paper or outside of reality, is not really in the top 10.
Yeah, I agree with
So
you.
yeah, and
Holland's
this is a tough fight for Kevin Holland too, because yeah, of course he doesn't have anything to lose. He's fighting on short notice. He's like, okay, sure, I'll fight. Why not? It's a good opportunity if I do actually win. Um,
we
But I
both
mean,
fight.
that's still a tough thing to do. You got a guy that's ready to go, and you got Kevin Holland, who probably still isn't in bad shape by any means, but he's not prepared for this guy at all.
No, I see Marvin Vittori actually probably submitting him in the third round.
That'd be pretty nuts.
Yeah. So Marvin's actually has a very underrated ground game.
He does, and that's just it. Now that he knows where, now he knows where Kevin Holland is his weakness is not on the ground. All he has to do, okay, I'm gonna do a couple strikes, shoot, get him on the ground, use my mass against him because Vittoria's a thick dude at 185 as well.
Big dude, yeah. I don't know. He doesn't get a title shot with this win. I'd like to see him fight maybe Jared Cannonier if he wins. Sounds
That would
good.
be a good fight. I think so too.
We haven't seen Jared fight in a while now.
Yeah, Jared needs to start fighting as well. I really like that guy too in a weird way. Like he was kind of a fun guy to watch as well.
I didn't think he'd be. I thought I'm a huge Whitaker fan, and I thought Jared was gonna clean Whitaker's. And that fight really surprised me. So
I thought so too. I was like, shit. Like I was kind of surprised when he lost. I was like, okay.
yeah, it was very very shocking. Nothing against Whitaker. I just thought I'm a huge Whitaker fan. If you know me, I'm a huge Whitaker fan. But I thought Whitaker was shot after the Izzy fight, and he's came back.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great fight against Darren Till. Not easy fight at all, of course, but he definitely had a great fight against Till. Definitely gave Till a hard fight. And then came and now he's gonna fight. I think he's fighting. What's his name? Gaslam, I think.
Yeah, next week, which is going to be a good fight too.
That'll be a good fight too. Can you imagine if Gaslam beats him and says, "Hey, I want a title shot"? I'd be kind of freaked out for Izzy because like Izzy that was his toughest fight.
Oh, for sure.
Like
Besides
obviously, not taking away anything from Bohovich. I mean, that was a total up in weight class. Izzy should never have went up there. But that being said, yeah, like besides Jan Bohovich, I don't even think that was even a hard fight for Izzy in that fight either. I think he just got taken down. The guy's too big.
Oh, for sure. But Kelvin Gastelum versus Izzy 2, sign me up. Like that'd be amazing.
Yeah, that will be definitely an interesting fight. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, middleweight's kind of a weird spot. Welterweight is kind of a weird spot. All the divisions, like everybody's just fighting for that title shot. What's that?
But a lot of the people who are getting the title shot shouldn't be getting the title shot. Like the welterweight division, we should not be seeing Jorge Masvidal fighting for the belt.
No, not really.
Like it should
not
be
really. I think I'd love to see Kobe fight. I mean, I know what the stuff he says, but I know that's all bullshit. It's just to get him the title shot. It's to get the fans to hate him because that's how it gets people to watch. And I love that. Like I love how I love Kamaru and Colby going at it. Like they should have done the Ultimate Fighter together. That would have just been, oh my god.
I'm really actually let down with the Ultimate Fighter. Like that Volkanovski, nobody wants to watch Volkanovski talk. Like let's be honest, he doesn't have the best personality.
No, and Ortega's too nice. I think Ortega will be a fun coach to watch because I think there's more to him than people just see. But I think like I find it's one of those shows where Ortega's really not good. I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot of trash talk. It's not gonna be very like this isn't gonna be like Garbrandt and TJ. I think this is gonna be a very, obviously they're very competitive. I think fighters are very competitive. There's never gonna be that, yeah, buddy, I want to see you beat me tomorrow. Like there's nothing about that. Everyone's gonna be competitive, but I don't see that it's gonna be a lot of trash talk. They're probably just gonna go in, coach their guys and do what they need to do.
It's not gonna be Rampage and Evans.
Oh my god. I'll never forget when Rampage put the hole through the door and just tore the door off. Like that's insane.
Yeah. He called the guy titties all Daryl Schoonover, I think it was his name. I don't know. It was an entertaining season.
Well, Tito and what's his name? Tito and who's that?
Wait, didn't Chuck Liddell and Rich Franklin fought because Ortiz dropped out of that one.
Yeah, Tito or not Tito. Vanderlei Silva and Chael Sonnen when they did the and that I'll never forget when they fought. Like, they legit fought on camera,
Yeah.
and he's like, I can't let you get close."
Oh, great.
And that was they throw that clip out there so many freaking times. That's the only thing I don't like about UFC sometimes is that they use the same fucking clips over and over when they're promoting a fighter. Like every time, who's that guy? Showtime. Every time he
Yeah.
fight, always show the same Showtime kick from
Exactly.
the other promotion. It's like, oh my god, how many times are you guys show that?
Now you can throw the Stephen Thompson in there too.
Oh yeah, that one too. Yeah.
I like to. But you see, like the same with what was that one? I can't even think about it right now. John Jones pushing at Daniel Cormier's neck. How many times have you seen that?
Oh no, it was Daniel Cormier that pushed at John Jones' neck, and then
Yes.
he came up and started throwing. Like, yeah, that happens so many times. But I watched I watched their like the post fight or the post when they were sitting in the rooms. He's like, "Pussy, you still there?" And he's like, "I'm here." And then like they're talking and trash. Like Daniel Cormier, man, like he gets so emotionally invested in that stuff,
Oh,
and I remember watching like 3 weeks ago, and oh man, it still gets me so much. Like I'll post it, and gives everybody a good laugh, and yeah, like you just don't see too much of that shit anymore. Like I other than Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington, you haven't really seen too many of those things happen too often.
not too much animosity anymore. I think they're trying to make it more of a sport friendly, I guess.
Yeah,
I feel like they're trying to let's just fight. That's it. You know what I mean? But they need even Connor stopped, which that was his whole thing, right? So
yeah. They don't do too many brawls anymore. I mean, John Jones and Daniel Cormier. There's no denying that that was pure. That was pure hatred for each other. That was pure, real
mhm.
bad blood. I mean, the whole thing with Connor and all of his some of his opponents. That's all getting in their head. Him and Nate Diaz, the second fight, they knew what was at stake. They both knew that the trash talk, everything that was going to sell the fights. Even Garbrandt and Cody. I mean, their second fight, literally, they did when they did the press conference. You can
Mhm.
see when they're all done and they're walking off. He goes up and shakes his hand. Like that just goes to show you that, hey, buddy, thanks for good stuff. We did some promotion. Um,
Mhm.
so you just don't see that stuff anymore. I wish we did because it's so entertaining. I know I'm
Oh,
sick,
it's
but
all the
it's
fight.
entertaining.
But we're also not seeing Kobe fight right now, so we
Colby
don't get to
fight
see.
now. Um, I would love to see him fight Leon Edwards.
I want to see Vincent Luike or Luike.
Oh yeah, Vicente Luque. That would be a great fight too.
Yeah, that'd be a good fight.
Because Colby, I mean, like Colby's more of a volume guy, but
Mhm.
I mean, I love to see those guys just go. I mean, Vicente Luque, I think, has come a long way since his loss to
Steven
Stephen
Thompson.
Thompson. But this guy, I mean, besides Stephen Thompson, maybe another fight he's lost. I mean,
Mhm.
shit, this guy is just like
He's a
he's just
problem.
good. He's just a weird. He's weirdly good. I don't know how to describe it. Like I don't want to look at him and say, "Oh, this guy is so damn good. He's just gonna knock." No, but like it's just something about him. He's just different.
He has an it factor where he's not good at one thing though. He's good at everything, right? Like he can submit,
Yeah,
he can knock you out, he can fight for 3 rounds. So he's a tough problem for anyone.
yeah, and like I mean, and he's not afraid to stand and bang too. Like him and Brian Barberina. I mean, I'll never forget. That's one of my favorite fights of
Great
all
fight.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Barberina's a tough guy.
he's a freaking tough dude. And him going up to welterweight was the best decision he could have done because he just wasn't. Just I think he was killing himself at 155.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it'll be interesting to see how all these divisions all work out. I guess I did want to ask you. So I know you talked about having Lauren Murphy on the podcast. You've had her on quite a few bits. So who else have you had on there?
Oh gosh, list.
I mean, if you had to take like your top 5 or 10 biggest names or biggest draws that you've had on there.
John Fitch he was really big for us because at the timing that was huge. It did really well on YouTube. Like crazy amount. That was probably the most memorable. I've had like Mark Munoz was great.
That's
Like
cool.
he was a super nice guy. Lauren Murphy was great. Um, I have had Tanner Bozer, Dennis Kang, Hannah Goldie was recently on. Phil Hans was recently on. We have a lot of boxers too. My favorite boxer of all time is Robert Guerrero. I don't know if you know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
He was recently on our show, which like having your favorite boxer on your show is unreal. And he's gave me his number, and he's actually telling me he's like, you got to get in shape now, and so it's good to see. Um, uh, God, Murillo Bustamante. I don't know if you remember him. He was a middleweight champion.
I don't. That doesn't ring any bells.
He was one of the very first middleweight champions in the UFC. Um, Matt Bessett. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, Matt Bassett. Yeah.
Matt Bessett. He was a good. It's just Willie Monroe. He was a top contender in the middleweight division of boxing. There's Frank
I
Trigg.
know. I know. I'm throwing you on the spot here.
Frank Trigg. He's a Hall of Famer. It was pretty
Of
cool.
course.
So no, it's just one of those things where I can't think of them all right now, right?
Yeah. You know what? And having guests on, sometimes it's so difficult to get these guests, or getting these fighters on.
They're not
Um,
reliable sometimes. That's what I have trouble with sometimes. You'll be like, hey, can you be here at 6 o'clock? And you got to get the time zone all set up. And then they're like, it's 7 o'clock. They're like, oh, I can finally do it. That's the hard part.
yeah, and that's just it. Like, and sometimes too, like I was supposed to have Dwight Grant on. Obviously, sometimes things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know,
But let it,
things don't always work out the way. Sorry, I just thought that maybe that was him messaging me. Sometimes things don't always work out. Like we were supposed to do it for 6 o'clock my time tonight, but you know, life happens, and I don't take it personal. I usually like if I have someone scheduled up, I'll just do it the next day, and they usually get back into the case, or hey, something happened. Um, yeah, and sometimes too, like I find what I really don't like is certain fighters. I'll look at like their pictures. I'll comment, and be like, "Hey, good stuff," or whatever. And I see other podcasters or MMA um, pages, and they'll be like, "Hey, DM me for an interview." And it's like, and I'll message them back and be like, "Are you fucking serious? Like,
yeah.
don't be disrespectful. Be professional." You know?
Oh, for sure, for sure. But it's we're all people, right? And shit happens. What it comes down to. But I enjoy some of them. I've had some great interviews, and a lot of the people who I think are going to be like, when you're going to talk to someone, you're like, you see the personality, and you're like, I don't know if they're going to be that entertaining or they're going to be that nice, like, and then they end up
Yeah.
being the person that you talk to. So that's always good. It throws me off a lot of times.
Well, yeah, and for myself, like, I've had some, um, I've had other fighters where I'm like, I don't know, and then I come on and the chemistry is just like it's, yeah, I've had some and I was just so worried, and then I've had some that it's not their fault. I think it's just some people you feed off better, just personality, right? It's no different. Like
Yeah.
there's some people you can cop up a conversation for like 2 hours straight and you just can't get enough, and there's some that like you're like you just can't get you can't get the answer out of them, or
Yeah.
like just you don't balance well with them. That's one I do struggle with sometimes, is because I got all my content and it's
Mhm.
like I'm trying to like talk through it, and then they're just like, yeah, blah blah blah, and it's like I don't know what else to say about it. They don't really give me much. That can be kind of difficult. Um, yeah, it sometimes can be really really difficult, I find. But probably one of my favorites has to. I know I don't want to put any fighter down when I say favorites, but I gotta say one of my favorites has to be that Brazilian, the light heavyweight guy.
Johnny
Um,
Walker.
Johnny Walker. I keep forgetting his name. I feel so freaking bad. If he watches it, I'll be like, sorry, Johnny, don't kill me. But yeah, no, Johnny Walker. He was a fun guy. Just because I've been following him since the Dana White Contender Series, and I was so excited to have him on. I didn't think I was gonna get him. And then, interesting enough, then like the week after, I got Volkan Ozdemir, and that was cool. But it was kind of weird because at the beginning, I get him on there, he doesn't have a shirt on, nothing. And he's like, hold on, I gotta get a shirt off.
Oh, sure.
And he was
Yeah.
and he doesn't have a shirt on. He's all like laying down, but like I think he was at like a spa, or he was at something. I think he was getting treatment. He was injured or whatever. He's dealing with injury. He was a cool guy to have on there too. But Johnny Hollywood Case, he was a fun one too. He was actually quarantined in South Korea at the time last year, and
Mhm.
it really sucked because I just got off midnights, and the only time that worked with him was 8 o'clock at night for him, but it was 8 o'clock in the morning for me. So or 9 o'clock in the morning for me, and 9 o'clock at night for him. So literally, I race home, I get all my stuff set up for my podcast, and I was drinking my coffee back like no tomorrow because like half the interview I'm just fucking so exhausted, and I'm just yep, and I couldn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to, but he was still a really good, very nice guy to chat with.
Yeah, Lauren Murphy was probably my favorite, and probably Robert Guerrero. So
That's cool. I'd love to have Lauren Murphy on. I just haven't been able to get a hold of her. I know it can be tough.
I
But
can
I
get a
find
hold
like
of him.
once you do though, once you get a hold of a lot of these fighters, especially once you're in their main DM, they're so easy to chat with. Like they'll get back to you because I know a lot of times
Oh, for
they
sure.
don't always check all their random DMs, unfortunately.
For sure. Sorry, my kids. If you hear a kid in the background, she's screaming at me.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So, is
I
there anything
guess
else you want to cover?
no. I think that's everything, man. I do appreciate you doing this thing with me. It
Yeah.
was fun. I should get this uploaded pretty soon too. If you want to just tell everyone where to find you, your YouTube and your Instagram, and I will
Yeah.
do the same.
So we're at the Combat Hour on Instagram. We were on Twitter. We kind of let that go just because it just didn't kick off. I find that Instagram kicked off a lot easier. So you can find us at the Combat Hour, or we have the
Mhm.
Combat Hour Extras page, which we just do. I run the Combat Extras, and then my co-partner runs the Combat Hour. Just so ways that both of us can communicate with the MMA community. And then you can find us on YouTube at the Combat Hour. We're going to be starting a podcast like on Anchor and Apple Podcasts soon. We're just figuring out how to do it all. So that's work in progress. And yeah, we always have new interviews coming out. This week we got Lee Chadwick and Taylor Starling. So those are coming out this week. So keep in touch with us for sure.
That's awesome. And for myself, you can find me on YouTube, Empire Universe. That's how it's spelled. If you're confused, just look for the logo. And you can find me on Instagram at Empire Universe Podcast, and as well as Facebook as Empire Universe. I enjoy everyone for watching. I appreciate you, Brady, for coming on here and chatting with
Yeah,
me.
thanks for
And
having
for
me.
taking the time.
Sorry that my kids are kind of a pain right now.
Oh, no worries, man. Dad life, it can be busy. So again, I appreciate the time. Let's do it again soon, and you take care. Stay healthy while we're in this quarantine, man.
I know, another lockdown for 4 weeks.
Yeah, I know it sucks, man. Like, freaking, it's stupid. The lockdowns is not going to work, but
No,
um,
it's
you can
horrible.
say whatever you want. This is all going to be edited. I made sure to cut it off at
So
one
you
point.
so you do all the editing?
Yeah, I do all the editing. I do everything myself. Like I'm the only one that runs this podcast. I did think about having like a partner to like help me with some of the content, maybe like
Yeah.
message to the fighters, whatnot. Um, but I just I just haven't had the I don't know. It's a bit of a trust thing because you're giving someone else the chance to work with your podcast, and sometimes you like something done a certain way, and
Oh, for
so.
sure. For sure.
But
Yeah, we're it's me and my buddy, and it's been a while, so we'll definitely get together again soon. And you're only in Chatham, right?
yeah, I mean, I'm only in chat. I'm only
I
an hour
I,
away,
uh,
so.
I could definitely hook you up with Laura Murphy too if you need.
That would be awesome, man. Like I never want to ask like when certain fighters get certain fighters, I gotta ask them like, how do you get them? And they're like, oh, I'll set you up. And it's like, oh, don't do that. Like I want to do it myself, but yeah, if you don't mind, that'd be awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, honestly, like sorry, I was just getting my baby. He's a newborn.
Oh
I have
yeah,
I have 4 kids, so one of them's going to be an MMA fighter.
that's awesome.
Um, no, like honestly, the worst person we've had on our show, honestly, was Butterbean. Big name,
Really?
but jerk, man.
Why?
Or go and watch the. I'll send you the link to the interview with him. It's only
Yeah,
10
you can
minutes.
send me in a second.
Yeah, he was like, have you ever get those interviews where they're just like, I don't know how you line up your questions. Like, do you write them down on a paper or whatever? But
Yeah, I
like,
kind of have that general thing.
yeah. Well, Marshall did the interview, but he said he ran out of questions so fast because he would give straight answers like yes, no, yes, no, that there was no. So like he's like I had to keep thinking about and then at the end of the interview he's like if I don't get followers on Instagram like your podcast sucks.
Really?
Yeah, so he's just really rude, man, like super rude dude. I'd never have him on the show again.
Or you probably could kick his ass. So.
Oh man. Like he started saying Deontay Wilder sucked, like couldn't hit, or sorry, Deontay Wilder didn't hit hard. And I'm like, are you on drugs? And he said he didn't fight
Yeah,
anyone.
are you fucking serious?
He said he didn't fight anyone. And I'm like, Butterbean, who did you fight? You beat a 55-year-old Larry Holmes, and you lost.
Yeah.
So, like,
Anyway, Brady, I don't mean to cut you off. I know you're kind of busy here,
yeah.
so I don't want to like keep you up any longer.
Oh no, I'm good as long as I'm not bugging you. I could talk whatever. So.
Okay, I gotta eat soon too, so I just wanted to.
Yeah, no worries. We'll get together. Send me the link and I'll promote it a bit.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. Yeah, I'll take you in there. You're welcome to download the footage. You can use whatever parts you want. Just obviously make sure you give me the rights, or you use my rights in the video and whatnot. But yeah, if you want to put it on there, just for some things that you see in there that you would like to feature some of your parts on this live or on this stream. You're more than welcome. Just ask. But yeah, you're more than welcome. I'll make sure to get your stuff out there. And yeah, what about those YouTube subscribers, man? They all disappeared.
You know what it is so I have like 10 accounts too. So I went and
Oh,
subscribed.
I see what you did. Okay.
So I subscribe. So how YouTube is once you subscribe with like, hold on, my pitch. When you subscribe with like that many accounts off the same IP address in a short period of time, they started being more strict and took away the subscribers.
Yeah.
So I'll get some people to subscribe to you though. Some
that's
MMA
not a problem.
fans.
And I'm not.
Oh, I like to help out. So
I appreciate it, brother.
So I'll send some people your way to check your stuff out for sure.
Nice, man. Well, be careful. It just rained here, so it might be coming out to London. So
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. All right,
all
I'll
right,
let you
man.
know. Keep in touch.
Absolutely, Brady. You take care.
Yeah, bye.